the retaining wall is within spec, in Penta spec. The column, I call them pile masters, but the column footings are being cored and they will be tested. And as I said, if that would have to come out, it's an easy job because it's not in the building. It's the piers that support the canopy that comes out from the building.
How many tests did it take to get approved?
Pardon me?
How many tests did it take to get approved?
They took 6 cores of the wall, which is what the minimum amount that the structural engineer said he wanted. And he wants 1 core in each of the 2 piers, and he gave him instructions on where that core is to be taken.
So how is this a different test than the original tests that were being done, that it was failing?
Yeah, it's more of a, I probably should put the pictures in there. What they do with this test is they take the core and they compress it with a hydraulic press until it shatters. And they measure the amount of force that it takes to shatter it, and that's a direct correlation to what the PSI strength of the concrete is. So all the cores that they tested were over 4,000 pounds, which is what the minimum requirement was for that wall. And the piers, I believe, are the same requirements, so we'll see what they are.
So they're getting onto like they're failing every testing phase until like the last one.
Yeah, I think what happened was the concrete testing agency that we employed was a little bit late getting to the site, and the concrete that they tested was concrete that had already had water put in it, but wasn't the concrete that was used to pour the footer in the wall. So at least that's the story I'm getting from both tests. There's 2 independent testing agencies doing this.
Any other questions? Thank you, Gil.
Sure. See you next month.
Thank you. You're up.
So good evening. So if you remember last month, I shared with you in my presentation some of the programs that our students here at Littlestown go to that are part of the IU transition programs. Project Search, Gettysburg Outlets, where they're learning job site skills and skills to be productive, when they're done with school. So this evening, I thought it would be very nice for you to hear about one of these projects, because this is what we're all about. These are the great things that we do here at Littlestown. So this evening, Nicole Lagore, she's the teacher of the Project Search, and she's been with the IU for 17 years. I've known her and worked with her all 17 years. She's the teacher of Project Search, so she'll share a little bit with you. But also this evening, Christian, the graduate of Littlestown this year, and he went through the program, and he's going to share a little bit of information of the program and what he's going to be doing now that he's graduated.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. So, we'll tell you a little bit about Project Search. It started in 1996 at the Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. Erin Bryle, she was the director of the emergency department there, and she realized that there was a lot of jobs that could be done by students to help out to learn work skills. So she started this program, and now, since 1996, we've gone from 782 sites throughout the United States and 9 other countries. And here in Pennsylvania, we have 23 Project Search sites. And what's been so neat over the last 3 or 4 years now, our student interns get to meet on Zoom with the other 23 sites and talk about what they're doing. And we do that about 2 or 3 times during the school year. So you got to meet with them across the state and see what they're doing at their programs. Since 2015, we started Project Search at Wellspring Gettysburg Hospital in 2015. Littlestown has provided 15 students over those 10 years, and we have 13 of them employed in the community. A lot of them still stay in touch with us. We reach out to them. They're doing really well and doing a really good job working in the community. So I have a couple more things, and I'll let Christian talk a little bit here too. Wellspring is our host site, and our team is made up of our school districts here in York and Adams County. The Office of Vocational Rehabilitation opens up a case for each intern too, so they can have that open case. So when they get employed, they'll have, if they're employed with, while they're in Project Search, Sherry Viancian, I didn't get to say her name, she's our job coach, so we help train them in the program, plus if they get employed, while they're in the program or at the end of the program, we'll be there to support them for that employment until OBR. So, and then of course our families are definitely a big part of our team too. So, and then what we do, our students aren't working, our interns aren't working with each other. They're in a department, and they have a mentor in their department, plus Sherry and I are there to help train them. They learn those job tasks in each department, and they're in a department for 8 to 10 weeks. And then in the afternoon, they spend like 4.5 hours a day in their department. Then we have lunch, then we come back, we work on communication skills, interview skills, budgeting. This year we did a lot about budgeting, exploring different careers. We're in contact with so many businesses in the community too. It's really complement, like Gettysburg College, they usually will contact me in the spring and ask, oh, we might have some jobs. So we always try to take a trip out there to see them. So our whole idea is to get everybody gainfully employed by the end of the program. And a couple things that they are getting a stipend. They get to work in 3 departments for 9 to 10 weeks. At the end of each work rotation, they come and do a presentation for their families, their school districts, and their mentors in the department. And then WellSpan provides them an $8 lunch voucher each day. So they get to go, we teach them how to use that lunch voucher. We have 3 weeks of orientation at the hospital, so they get to know their way around, get to understand how much the prices are, so they stay within that limit. And we also do provide, WellSpan usually gives them 1 polo shirt, but we have a dress code following the WellSpan policies too, that they wear polo shirts, slacks, pants. If they're in food services, they need slip-proof shoes. And then WellSpan gives them a Project Search badge, which is like your keys, right? Because that gets you into all the departments around the hospital. So if you notice some of the pictures too throughout this, I tried to pull some pictures of past interns from Littlestown School District. Here's one of our interns that was from the class of 2020. He's working at Mount St. Mary's. He's still there employed. I know I passed the other one up there. So you were handing out the diploma. He's at Gettysburg College, and he uses, that's the other thing, they learn how to use the rapid transit system, the share ride system, the door-to-door. So some of our interns over the years get their driver's license, they come and show us their driver's, and then come and show me their driver's license, and they've saved up enough money to get a car. But some maybe don't want to learn how to drive, are not ready for that, so they use the share ride system, so we're there to help support you use that share ride
Because
system.
I just want to share, because part of the program is they have to do their own transportation. So we don't transport them up, they don't get on the Littlestown bus to go. They have to learn that as part of
Right,
their
and it's
work
really important
experience.
because if you learn how to pull up your ride from your phone, there's a countdown, see when it's coming, and learn how to cancel or find out when it's late.
Or, and sometimes, they give you like a specific time, like say, 3 minutes, it could be like anywhere, one time, like a couple times, they didn't pick me up till like after 4.
Yeah, but it happens, and they always strive to get you to work on time. They tell us that at Rapid Transit, but the pickup sometimes can be a little, it's been up and down. This year was not too bad, we only had a couple of late days.
Haven't missed a day, I was there.
So here's a lot of the departments that we're in. We're in emergency department, engineering, environmental services, food services, logistics, transport, on the nursing floors. And there's some more of our interns that were here from Littlestown, working in logistics, working on delivering meals to patients. One of them there is working with engineering with his mentor. That's the second time in the last 10 years that they have totally redid that fountain and painted it, and our interns have always helped with that. So they always look every year, they're like, we're not gonna do that, we'll redo it. So, but the first picture of the one student there, I have to tell you, she is working for the Department of Motor Vehicles, and she also takes time on 2 of her days off a month to come and volunteer at the hospital still, because she loved the staff. And Christian, I'm gonna let him tell you that he really enjoyed the staff too at Wellspan. It's been great, so. Christian, I think that's my last slide. I'll let you gonna tell them your presentation here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Christian. I was an intern there last year. My departments were environmental services. My last department was environmental services. My supervisor was Ashley Heller. Shout out to Ashley and everyone there. My job tasks. I would like, that first picture is me wet mopping the baseboard on the ground floor. This is like our basement. There's me taking on and off a mop head off the mop handle, which was very hard for me at first, but with enough practice, I was able to get done like a pro. And there's me actually dry mopping a hallway in axe. That's me in action. And every morning, I would have to like make sure I have bags, a cart, solution for the floss and fetch points, and 3 bags for clean mops, trash, and dirty mops and rags. There's me folding rags for they go in the bucket for the clean touch points, and there's me collecting spreads sometimes across the street because instead of the year we were filling in for some helping out them a little bit of time. And the final picture is me posing with some people from across the street in the Watson Street building from there. They love me there. And there's me and my fellow interns doing a little team building activity. We try to get a marble through the pipes into a bucket. You can't really see the marble or bucket in that picture, but it's there. There's me and a couple of my fellow interns last year, Liam, out to lunch before an interview at Chick-fil-A in Hanover. And there's me learning how to use a budget or plan a budget. Thanks. There's me in a decon tent. That's what it's called. I think it's called. And it's where you would you can't come. It's where you would like go to the hospital if you can't have chemicals or gases on you. They wouldn't allow you in on that, so you would have to like get clean through that before they would let you in. And there's John and Joe from engineering showing us how to operate a fire extinguisher. The pass method. Pass means pull the pin in the thing of the fire, squeeze a little thing that the foam comes out, and the final S is sweep at the base.
Yeah.
Sweep at the base.
Sweep at the base of the fire, yeah. And there, that final picture is me using that skills against a simulated fire. Kind of like a video game. You can't really see it, but it's when I'm there doing it. Tasks I've learned this year. I enjoyed doing this year. My first work rotation, I was on the nursing floors, delivering waters to patients and collecting spread in all the different departments. I was in the ED, my second department, cleaning and taking wheelchairs to the correct locations. In the third department, I was dry mopping floors and cleaning touch points. As you probably saw earlier in the presentation. Here's some pictures for me throughout the departments. There, that first one is me getting ready to deliver water to a few patients. Love doing that, and they love seeing me every day. There's me doing a little room check, which I really didn't get to do much in the ED because I was so busy. There's me doing a little sucking air oxygen tanks for the thing. And there's me making a gallon packet for OSU for patient surgeries. Work for Ellen this year. I am dependable. I haven't missed a day of project search.
Yeah, nice.
Effort. I put a lot of effort into my work, especially dry mopping the chairs and tables in the ED, in year 4. Enthusiastic. I come to work each day with positive attitude and ready to learn. You guys can probably guess that already. Lifelong independent skills. I learned how to use the rapid transit system Nicole already probably told you about. I have practiced interview skills, creating a resume, planning a budget, understanding net pay and gross pay. And gross pay is not gross because it's He gets it. I work best with checklists and a good routine. It's understandable to schedule. Next slide, please. Some jobs I've applied for, interviewed for this year in April, back in April and May. I applied and interviewed for community aid. I interviewed that on the board that was my first interview on the way back in April on Earth Day. I interviewed for I applied for Target or Home Depot. Lowe's, I interviewed for that back in late April or March. I applied for interstate maintenance. I'm going through the background checks for that as we speak for Littlestown for the custodian position.
All right.
So yeah,
For you.
I'm really excited about it.
All right.
And here are some of the businesses throughout our community that have employed our Project Search interns over the last 10 years. So you can see Gettysburg College, I mentioned a lot, was 7. Wellspan, they've hired 4. This year, one of our interns got hired a Reed Container. So it's really nice to see that we have a lot of support in the community.
And our intern got hired in environmental services at the hospital. You guys want to hear a quick joke or two?
Always up for a good joke, Christian.
Thanks. Okay, so first one. Before. Want to hear a construction joke?
Oh, yeah, we want to hear that.
Sorry, I'm still working on it. One more. Why did the zombie go to the mall? He didn't want to be caught dead with the latest fasten.
Good job.
So thank you, everyone. So that's just part of the wonderful things we do. And Judy and Eric gave up most of their time for me tonight. So I want to thank them for the great presentation. And there's also a supervisor from the IU here to share and to be involved in all the great things we do. So thank you.
Christian, you graduated this year, did you not?
Graduated from, are you talking about Project Search?
No, from Littlestown.
I graduated officially from Littlestown at 2023. So about 2 years. I've been officially out of regular school.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, guess Dr. Miller, you found shoes up.
Sorry.
Moving on. All right, Dr. Miller, you're up. Thank you. Nice
Bye.
to see you all. See you all.
No report.
Okay. So
Took too long.
All right. You were serious? Okay. You know, you're calling it out.
That was nice of you.
Mine's super short, because I did tell Caroline, I'm like, we can have our time. Just that we're closing up the end of the school year, starting to ramp up already for next school year. The principals and I had our first of several summer workshops that we're gonna have throughout the summer, really making sure that we have a great start to the next school year, working on a variety of things, which you'll see next year. So that's my report.
Gary, you got the financials?
Oh, no, we didn't switch that.
Oh, you didn't switch that part? Okay, yeah. Okay.
So the financial report for this month is mostly going to revolve around transportation and the budget. That's what the finance committee met about last week, and that was the main topic was transportation and the contract, because that's a big impact this year to the school district and how that's going to impact the budget. So you'll see 2 different types of budgets, one with or without a contract to service or transportation. As always, what I have on here is the homestead farmstead. We went through that before. What the exclusion will show is how much per home value will drop down. And then we talked about the 6.1% or $6.1 million transfer as needed. That'll be officially in the board action here for June to take place place throughout next school year, as well as pending audit. So if anything, we have to have it on there for pending audit for next year. If we want to transfer any surplus that we may or may not have to capital reserve, that needs to be on there as a placeholder if and when that happens. Generally, that comes back to the finance committee at our October, November meeting, pending on the time frame of the audit. Other than that, I think it's just going to be the conversation around transportation. We had a very in-depth conversation at finance committee, and we went back to price from that and had some additional negotiations, which is reflected on this agenda and for review tonight. So we'll save some any questions or comments of that when we get to it.
Same as Young.
Nope, no athletics update tonight. Just thanking Mrs. Young for
All right, on to the regular agenda. Steven, start off with you.
Thank you. As Tom mentioned, we have two resolution of budgets, final year. There's two proposals that reflect the options of in-house bus transportation in the first budget and the outsourced bus transportation in the second. I mean, it's just two different forms, as Tom indicated. The difference in price is an additional $195,169 for the outsourced transportation. The district has conversed about outsourcing transportation since January of this year. Recent discussion at the committee level has shown staying in-house the areas of concern are keeping the drivers, cost of maintaining the current fleet, which is aging, and the questions are before us, the issues of maintaining an in-house fleet versus the increased cost of outsourcing. The contract before us is the outsourcing to provide security and employment for current employed drivers with competitive pay rates, maintenance and legal requirements of the fleet that are taken care of. The administration of all routes will remain in control of the district, and we asked for change in the proposal, which Tom made mention of, considering from a 7-year proposal to a 5-year with a 5-year renewal. Do you have any questions?
And if that's technically A and B, did you sort of roll those two into one, did you know?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Well, I have a question. What is the current daily rate for the substitute drivers that we pay?
I was asked that. I didn't have time to pull that due to some technical issues, but I can provide that tomorrow to the board. I don't have it on hand at the moment.
Okay, that's fine.
Laura know maybe?
Now, I can probably try and look it up before
Yeah,
we go.
but
Can you do that, Laura? Thank you.
And then the next question I have, if it's okay, is this out, are we gonna have to raise taxes for this at all?
Well, there will be operational costs.
Right.
Overall, as you can see. And eventually, at some point, when we use up all of our savings, or we use up so much, we have to make that determination, not just on transportation, but on all costs. So I don't necessarily know that it's fair to say, are we gonna have to raise taxes because of transportation ever? Because forever is a long, long time.
Right, sure. In the foreseeable future, but it's definitely gonna be more cost effective to outsource it looks like, than keeping it in-house.
I think it makes a better work opportunity for our employees, which we work very hard to make sure that if the board were to approve this, our employees would be well taken care of.
Does this reflect the, going back to them getting that lower
The
rate?
changes.
Good answer.
Any other questions?
Also does it reflect like self-help?
I do.
Sure.
My concerns on this subject is this. I continue to support no tax increase, I really do. However, I'm really concerned about the projected estimated deficit exceeding $2.5 million to $2.6 million that was been discussed in the past in some of the media without moving the 3.2 million, it leaves us vulnerable unless this board can convince me without a doubt that we're going to have a surplus come November. So we're going to be all right. I don't know if anybody can do that at this point without a audit.
Is there a question there?
Yeah, the question is, should we move forward with this budget the way it is, considering that we have not moved the 3.2 million? That's the question I'm gonna ask. Back out of capital projects. And the other question is, and Tom, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it has been said by you that we were, in the beginning, that we were 2.5 million to 2.6 million in a deficit, projected. Are we still at that point, in your opinion, or do you foresee in the future us having a surplus, in your opinion?
Like I've always said, I don't predict that because of how the audit conducts. We find that out throughout July and August, so then that's provided to the board as soon as opportunity in October when we meet at FBS. So when that happens, when we find out if and when a surplus happens, I meet with the finance committee and we allocate any surplus to the, I guess, any general fund or capital reserve through that discussion. And then it shows up on the board agenda for official approval at that time.
I would say, Mr. Sullivan, as far as any deficit that we have, Mr. Schobaker budgets on what he absolutely knows for certain we will receive. Anytime the state doesn't provide their budget to us in advance, we don't know what we are guaranteed to receive. So we will always budget for that, what is considered hold harmless, that we will have from the state to be able to move forward. The state often comes through at different times and provides some additional funding, but to speculate and guarantee what that will be would really be foolish, I believe.
Oh, no, I'm not asking you to do
So
that.
that's why you will always see a deficit between our revenues and our expenditures.
On the 3.2 million, that was moved specifically for the facility grant that we received from the state. That's essentially our portion to keep us, the capital reserve is quote unquote operational when that grant, that large sum of money for the grant moves forward and we still have capital needs post that grant. So that was kind of a one-for-one transfer to make that happen without overexpending those capital reserve funds.
And wasn't that a 500,000 grant? That wasn't any more than that.
Correct, so we got 500,000 for the state for the high school and 500,000 for here ACES. But we had a portion about what we submitted as projects, for the scope of the project. And remember that changed, we originally was supposed to be 75, 25 from the state, they kind of flipped it, and now it's 75 from the district, 25 from them. So our 75% is around that 3.2 until we would go out and get official numbers. That's kind of the placeholder of what the estimation.
And Mr. Schobaker, when we did that, did we not scale back that work that we had planned, which was originally to offset the areas that we couldn't reach or couldn't afford in the building project?
Yeah, so we scaled back significant portions of the high school, that lower level, and then here at ACES, we did the roof replacement. We paused that for future time. We were doing the HVAC one-to-one replacement, not the roof replacement along with it. So we did scale back in efforts to mitigate some of those, but that 3.2 was specifically moved for that. So I just don't want to, if the board would choose to move it back, we would have to basically re-look at that grant and what we could or couldn't do in the scope of that.
Well, I think the question for you is this. I'm worried that we're self-insured for health insurance, correct?
Correct.
That is an unknown. I've seen bills for dental, I've seen everything, and I'm sitting there thinking, how do we know what we're going to spend, and are we going to be okay?
We do have fund balance earmarked for those occasions.
Okay, because I know Carl brought it up in a previous meeting at the cafeteria, and he's right. I'm concerned about that, because we are self-insured.
Yeah. Mr. Sullivan, one of the things that we also do is we meet with our insurance brokers to review that data every year and make sure that we do have enough in that fund to make sure that we can provide for our insurance needs.
Several times.
Several times a year. Yes.
To answer the question, the daily rate for the sub is